Welcome to Outreach Debates interview series, where we interview some of the greatest debaters across the circuit. Here with us, we have Strake GZ, Jason and Daniel, who were the 2024 TOC Gold champions and have 27 bids to the Tournament of Champions. We appreciate you taking the time, and how are you feeling today?
Great, great.
Yeah,
Great. So, kind of a question for both of y'all. How did y'all first get involved in debate?
Danny, you want to go?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I think I started as a speech kid, in all honesty. Like my mom signed me up for like some speech class. Like it was like original oratory. And then like after that, I don't know, I did some random speech events, but then I ended up doing like PF. I kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, pretty similar. I think my parents signed me up to like a speech class for Chinese school, and then me and Daniel actually ended up debating at like the same organization in middle school. So yeah.
And how did that like middle school organization kind of propel you into high school debate?
I'm not gonna lie, I never got any spots. I had to do LD. But it kind of it just made me realize that I really liked debate, and it was something I wanted to continue in high school. Um, Jason.
Yeah, I think it was what was really cool is um like we had like pretty experienced debaters I guess coaching for us. And then also like everyone was friends with everyone else. So I think that it kind of motivated everyone else to, I guess, work hard. And like pretty much every single person who started off debate with us in middle school, like continues to do debate to this day. So
Yeah, I know like the boys at Kincaid, they started with us, and so did a bunch of the Seven Lakes kids. So
And kind of going off Seven Lakes, Jason, you originally started at Seven Lakes. How did that work transferring to Strake and working with Daniel? And why do you like working with Daniel?
yeah, so um contrary to popular belief, I actually did not transfer to Strake because of debate. It was actually because of my younger sibling who was applying to other schools in Houston. But I would say that like my experience at Strake is definitely really different from Seven Lakes. I would say that given that we don't have like an actual coach, a lot of it is hands off and student run, but also we've had a lot more opportunities to travel, what I think has definitely helped us, at least me, become a better debater. I think that working with Daniel has been really nice. Daniel's incredibly hardworking. He puts in the effort to do what he needs to do. And obviously Daniel's amazing at debate. So yeah.
right back at you.
And when you guys first started partnering, what were kind of the first challenges or how is that like kind of growth process of starting to debate together?
I think it's just realizing like each other's strengths and weaknesses. Like, Jason preps like really hard. And I don't prep as hard as him, but I think like the prep I cut like we used to. I think it's just like I don't know. I remember the first tournament like we did. I kind of messed up in finals. So I think it's just like learning to make up for each other's like weak points. Like I don't know, like I guess argument coverage and weighing. They were both big things, but prepping together has been great. Just in round, like yeah,
Yeah, I think like all my weaknesses are Daniel's strengths. So I think that like especially like starting off and then like to this day, like we've I think that the way we debate has kind of changed to I guess really complement each other. And I think that that's what's helped us really succeed. So
And Daniel kind of talked about prep. Walk us through your prep process before a major tournament, like for example, the TOC. How do you divide the work and how do you go about cutting or doing prep?
well, I think TFC was a little bit special. And I think like usually, well, I guess to preface, we don't ever really give out assignments. At least like between me and Daniel, we aren't like, hey, I need you to cut like these specific arguments. We kind of just like cut whatever we feel like cutting. And I think that we were especially motivated for TOC. So for TOC, we just ended up cutting a lot of prep. I guess something that we've started doing at Strake as a whole is we've actually been kind of outsourcing assignments to like the underclassmen and the juniors. So I think that that's helped kind of alleviate a big part of the prep burden. And I think that, seeing a few rounds really helps us, I guess, strategize on which assignments to give to which people. So
Yeah, I would say so. Also, like our friends, I know TOC we prep with basis, and while me and Jason were like I guess really case oriented. Well, Jason was everything oriented, but basis was like really good at cutting blocks. So yeah, I think it's just finding arguments. I know to this day we still have like some TOC arguments that we're never gonna break that we cut. So yeah.
And how does that kind of like team dynamic work? Like for somebody else who's trying to give assignments to underclassmen, how do you kind of organize that and make sure it stays efficient and that cards are cut?
I would say spreadsheets. I know now, like as seniors, like some of our juniors and sophomores like control assignments, those like people that we trust. But I think just being on top of the topic, like I don't know, getting the topic lecture done fast so people know what to grasp and like talking to them a lot because I don't know, we talk to our team a ton.
And kind of how do you guys approach case writing and evidence collection? Some teams really focus on the most generic arguments and prep a lot of in-depth front lines. Some teams like to spam for contention cases that are really niche. What is kind of y'all's approach and what has worked for you throughout your career?
well, I think it's funny that you say that because the way I think we've read our cases has definitely changed over the past 2 years. We started off reading probably like four contentions. Um, and I think that they were all generally generic arguments that we would kind of try to niche out a little bit. And I think that moving on into like the later part of our junior year and then like pretty much all of our senior year, we pretty much stuck to reading like 2 to 3 contentions at most and really just, I guess, adding a lot of spikes and preempts and then also more warrants and links into our arguments. And I think that generally it is easier for us to frontline arguments that way.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree. I totally agree.
And what do you think sets your like strategy apart from other teams? Like what do you think makes you successful or more successful than other teams?
I guess this is a hard question to answer since I think that it'll sound bad if I just say that like we out prep them, but we prep a lot of like backcast strategy and the people we work with also help us prep a lot. I would say that in round decision making, we never like fight in round or like we we're able to find like a path like within the 10 seconds after like or before crossfire, like after both rebuttals and before the second cross, like I feel like we just know or like we'll discuss and then like I don't know, it's trust, like cohesion and like I guess like just knowing stuff.
Yeah, 100%. I would say the biggest component is probably me and Daniel almost always being on the same wavelength. So yeah.
And something that a lot of debaters are kind of unable to grasp is some people are very technically good and some people are good at lay debate. I think y'all have found success kind of in between, winning both lay rounds and tech rounds. How do you go about kind of explaining to the debaters under you, or how would you explain to debaters how to get good at both styles?
Jason, you want this?
Um, sure. So I guess in terms of technical debate, I'd honestly say that this is actually, I think, what me and Daniel started off being good at. Primarily because I guess this was kind of the way that we were taught was always very technical, like extend your arguments, extend defense, extend offense. So I think that that's something that was kind of just inherent with the way that we were taught debate at first. But I think that, debating a lot with other technical debaters, watching rounds, those has all helped us, I think, become better technical debaters, make better back half strategies. And I think that in lay debates, those are rounds that me and Daniel definitely, I think, started struggling off with the most. But I think with that, um, just doing more rounds, practicing, even like scripting maybe like one or two like one-liners that you can bring up in the back half, I think can make a really big difference, especially in lay debate. So
Yeah, I would say like technically I'm probably not even the top three like best tech debaters on my team. Maybe I can sneak in on three, but like I just think that you have to have a good balance. Like you should never like lose 100% of lay rounds, like, and just like be complaining about your judges. I just think that like different different like types of rounds require different types of prep. So we just encourage our debaters to do a lot. I mean, it helps that we're in Texas, and that our novices are debating like lay rounds in and out every weekend. So
And what has been your most memorable round or tournament in your career? Either together or not together.
I think the most memorable tournament is TOC. Maybe Jason wants to answer the question about the most memorable.
Oh, I was actually gonna say probably Harvard, not because Strake ever does particularly well at the tournament, but I think it's always been a fun tournament. I think we that's the tournament besides like any Texas tournament where we send the most kids to. We usually get a nice hotel. Everyone stays on the same floor. It's just a whole lot of fun, and usually there's snow too. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what my most memorable round is. Maybe TOC semis against
What
Bashir.
happened in TOC semis?
We had like a close K debate, I'd say, or we had like a K debate.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What like how do you guys go after like for example if you lose a round, how do you make sure it doesn't discourage you, especially as you're going into elimination rounds and keeping like an upbeat positive attitude to continue to like win?
um, it's funny that you say that. I think what works for me and Daniel is we actually vent really hard for like 15 minutes, get it out of our system, we call it a day, and then we just move on as if not as if the round didn't happen. I think we obviously talk about what went wrong with our system is what definitely helps us from being discouraged about the losses that we get at tournaments. So
Yeah. Wait, yeah. You're right. We don't really do redos. We can't like I don't know. Um, Jason, right?
yeah.
And in those elimination rounds, a lot of the times there's a panel of different judges. Some people have different ideas of how to approach these judging panels, but in your experience, if you have a lay, a flay, and a flow judge, how do you kind of approach the panel?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I honestly think that um in that essence we would probably orient it towards the flay. Not necessarily like just the flay, but I guess more so like is the flay leaning tech or is the flay leaning lay? And in that we would kind of orient a little bit towards how we debate. But I think something that generally has worked for me and Daniel, both for Flay tech debate and even like a little bit of lay debate is usually we'll start debating like relatively fast and then we slow down dramatically in the back half. I think that helps us kind of warrant out our arguments a bit more in the first half and then also flush out those, I guess, relatively undercovered arguments in the back half as well, while also being, I think, more coherent too.
Yeah. Jason's like totally right. I think two things to add, just like weighing, just like weigh a lot, but don't make it sound super technical. Like nobody's arguing between like I don't know, try or die and time frame and that type of panel. And then the second thing is like sound persuasive. Like one-liners definitely help. And being clear helps, even if you're fast.
And what strategies, you guys kind of talked about how you brainstorm those weighing strategies, brainstorm those one-liners, and kind of brainstorm your back half strategy. How do you guys get to that? Like, what are the decision-making tools you use? Do you guys like kind of workshop together? How do you decide on what back half strategies you want to go for? Kind of get into the brains of Jason and Daniel right before summary, so we see the decisions you make.
Before summary, I think about what my opponent's most likely to go for based on the round reports that we look at before rounds. And if we don't have those, just thinking about which arguments are covered, undercovered by the rebuttal. But if they're all covered well, um, then then I guess it's like our decision to make. So if the team that we're debating is a little more technical, then maybe I'll go for um just one argument and weigh it really well. But if I know the team that we're debating is less technically sound, or that we have like a conceded argument, then I think going for two arguments. But I don't really know. I think angling or weighing strategy is what frames our decision and also coverage. Jason.
Yeah, pretty much exactly what Daniel said. I think our clap strategy is usually determined by what we think we can weigh best against their arguments, but also relative to, I guess, like how easy it would be to go for an argument. So
Another aspect of debate a lot of people struggle with is cross-examination. A lot of people are unsure whether they are being too aggressive, not aggressive enough. They're getting walked, like they're like being dominated. Like, what do you guys think is the best approach to cross-examination, in your experience?
Daniel's got that. He's a cross expert. So
I think that I don't know. I low-key go into cross. I'll write question marks on my flow when they're like speaking. And if I think something's up, I might look up and look at Jason. And if he's looking up and he's like frowning, then like I definitely know that's a question that I have to ask. But I think if you start cross off on the right foot, like if you catch them off guard, they're not thinking like, let me get a question. They're thinking, oh, I look really stupid. So I think you just ask a good question. um I I don't really know how to how to like tell anyone to ask a good question because like I think it's just the way you say it. Like you have to just like say it and then just keep asking follow-ups. You can't be too aggressive. I think that's something that we do well, that we're not like overly aggressive, but I think just like eye contact with the judge and like letting them know when your opponent said something stupid, um or said something wrong. Like I think, yeah, I don't know. Jason is pretty good at cross too. Um,
I guess one thing that we did as well is sometimes pre-gaming cross is kind of helpful, especially on the September topic, the surveillance topic. A question we would always ask that would pretty much trip almost every team up was we would always ask them, like, would we have surveillance around like indigenous lands? And the obvious answer most teams would say is no. And then we would just say, okay, cool. And then I would bring it up in rebuttal as defense to their arguments. And if they said yes, and we would then like that sounds problematic, and we would kind of use that, I think, to help our ethos debate.
yeah.
Very smart. What advice would you give to younger debaters hoping to reach your status in debate or just reach a level where they can compete for bids or compete highly at the TOC?
Um, this is always a question we get asked, like, or we get asked a lot, but it's hard to answer. I think I would just say practice and prep. It's kind of lame, but low key, like I don't know, be informed, like be ready.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think anyone is naturally like going to be the best debater, and no one is naturally going to be permanently bad at debate either. I think that debate is just an activity that you have to grind out. You have to put in the hours, you have to put in the work, prep, watch rounds, do drills. I think that as long as you put in the work, you're pretty much guaranteed to at least do somewhat consistently good.
And when you're if you had to tell yourself something in ninth or even like 10th grade about your career or just your debate career in general, what would you say to them?
Uh, Jason.
I would probably tell myself that I don't think that trophies and titles matter a whole lot. I think that those were things I definitely placed a lot of importance on when I first started debate. But I think that, um, and this sounds cliche, but I think that as most debaters get into the senior year and graduate, that they kind of find that their most memorable moments in debate aren't like rounds or getting bids, but rather the times that you spend with your teammates, your coaches, and your friends. So.
Yeah, I would have said something similar. I would have said like to myself to not definitely not consider switching to LD. Because then I wouldn't have been able to partner with Jason or been a part of our PF team, which I think uh is not necessarily better than our LD team, but I think is surely like a whole lot more personable.
And how would you, is there people that were really instrumental to your success as debaters during kind of that growing period, especially in like the underclassmen years of getting to this level of success?
Mhm. I say I say Ishan and also like one of our senior, basically the whole Strake Jesuit senior class. Jason?
Yeah, I guess my answer would be a little bit different because I didn't transfer to Strake until my junior year. Um, I don't know if you know Justin Zhang, he debated for Seven Lakes. Him and also the upperclassmen back when I was at Seven Lakes, definitely I think helped motivate me a lot for debate, and also Coach P for sure.
Oh wait, I gotta say Arjun Shimada, because if I don't, he going yeah, he not gonna appreciate that.
I still remember debating him. Um, I'm trying to if for next year, or do y'all plan to debate in college or stay in the debate space? And if so, what's your plans?
Both me and Daniel are definitely going to coach next year. We need to make some money. Um, but I don't know about Daniel. I'm considering doing BP in college just because, um, like I think it's a nice extracurricular, but also not relatively, that high of like a effort or time requirement, especially compared to high school debate. So
Yeah. I don't really know if like my college has a debate team, but I'll consider it. As for coaching, and if you're in NYC, please hit me up. I need a job, please. It's not expensive, and I swear I'm a good coach.
He swears he's a good coach, and I think he is too. What would be your best coaching advice for a debater that is struggling on the tech?
I think re actually on the tech, redos are important. It depends. I would ask what they're struggling on. Um, I don't know. I think if it's like a first speaker, um, I would just say that you should trust your instincts. If you're like dead set on going for an argument, you should go for it, but just be aware of the weighing, coverage on the flow. And yeah, make sure you're discussing with your partner what has gone wrong after every round. If you have teammates, coaches, it's a prep issue. Then definitely prep towards your weaknesses. If you're conceding arguments, consider adding spikes. Um, yeah, I would say that. Just yeah, don't be nervous, debate well.
And increasingly, debate is getting a little, or PF debate is getting more and more progressive, I would say. How do you guys feel about that? And what are your best tips for progressive debate? Um, Winning T on burnout in finals is quite nice.
I don't know if this is a hot take or anything, but I think that um, not necessarily that Ks don't belong in PF, but it kind of doesn't work that well. Considering that the neg can go first and the app can go second. So there are a whole lot of things that I think make PF a really weird activity to be reading a K in. So, like for example, if the neg is reading a K on the topic, well, the app can go and say we're not going to be topical, and then the neg is kind of in a bind there. Similarly, I think that there are pretty persuasive shells to be read against K or pick a side instead of second. That you would get the bills.
Yeah, that totally cut out. I think with the coaching money, we might need to buy Jason new Wi-Fi, but um, I'm not sure what he said. I'm sure it was good, but I think I'm gonna move to Daniel while Jason resets.
Uh,
Oh,
I'll
Jason.
give yeah, I know what Jason was going to say. He was going to say there's like a ton of different shells that you can be reading like must not like flip second if that was one of them, maybe not. Um
Phillips theory is nice.
I don't know. Yeah, like J Jason, you got anything?
That's pretty much it.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I would say that I mess with the K, I guess. Like I think there are some instances in which reading it is super weird. And a lot of people who read it aren't really good at reading it. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's like yeah, I think you can just beat it. Like there are definitely ways to beat it. And it helps if you like embrace it. Like you don't just say like, okay, don't belong in PF. You just treat it as any other argument and you're prepared to beat it, I guess. Yeah.
And this is kind of like not related to that at all, but a lot of debaters experience burnout, I would guess, or they kind of get tired of debate, tired of the grind. Sometimes when you're in a slump and you're losing, I know in my sophomore year I hit a little bit of a slump for my freshman year. How do you guys approach, um, how did you guys not burn out? And what advice do you have to debaters that are thinking or questioning leaving debate?
Jason?
You know, you got it.
All right. Um, Debate was really fun. Like I would say, okay, I'll give like two answers. Like the first is that you should really embrace your team. If that's not an option, you should try to talk to people at tournaments. They're all for the most part, they're all nice people. Um, and it'll be really good if you just like talk to some people, and like form some connections. But for people who can't, and who cannot like afford debate camps, there are free resources out there that you can talk to people on. I think that a big part of not burning out is finding what debate means to you. Like that also sounds so cliche, but like find out like why you're in debate. Like, are you in debate solely for, I don't know, college? If that's so, then you're gonna burn out. But like if you're in debate to learn new things and meet new friends, then just find ways that you can get involved. Like shoot, if you can't find anyone, just hit up like Jason or me. Um, and like I don't know, we can talk to you about debate if you want.
Yeah, hit up Daniel and Jason on IG. They're always open in their DMs, I guess now.
They're
Um,
not, they're not there.
Jason, do you have anything else?
I think Daniel pretty much said it all. Like, I think that what really helps you avoid burnout is, you know, if you have friends in the activity, and if not, try to make friends. Everyone is nice, pretty welcoming. And I guess if it really is for college apps, um, maybe try to find some different reason to do debate. And if it is, I guess, exclusively college apps, set a goal for yourself. If it's only qualifying to TOC, once you do it, I guess you can call it a day. So.
And kind of what is after not burning out, after competing all this time, after winning the TOC, what is kind of your reflection on what debate means to you guys personally?
Jason, you got that.
Well, I don't know. Like I feel like it's kind of hard to sum up debate in a few words, um, especially because I, you know, debaters are kind of taught to never shut up. But
You have so much
um,
time, Jason. Take as much time as you want.
I mean, I honestly don't. I'm not too sure how to answer that question. There are so many things that I think that debate has given me a lot of opportunities. You know, being able to travel, meet a lot of cool people, try a lot of cool foods. But I would say that something that I've kind of learned, not necessarily by debating, but I think more so with how um, I've interacted with other people in the activity is that debate has taught us a lot about how to like listen to kind of respond. But I think that being able to talk with so many open-minded people, that I think that the activity as a whole has taught me how to listen to kind of understand and not so much as to respond.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good answer. I think I agree a lot with that. I also will say that it's my team that I really like debate. I don't know. I think that like everyone has a place in debate if you want a place in debate. And like my team, I know we go to Strake and we're like established and everything, but what debate means to me, I guess, is also not just listening to people, but also getting a chance to like lift pe people up and interacting with people, just like Jason said.
And are there any misconceptions about debate you'd like to clear up that like somebody has said to you or that's just like kind of in the atmosphere that you guys feel is wrong?
Well, first I have to clear up some PF shade because all the LDers and policy debaters think that PF evidence quality is downright horrendous. But surprisingly, I would say that, you know, even like say like 2022 to 2025, like there's been so much improvement in evidence quality that like every day, like PF just becomes closer to LD and policy that I think some people can't even fathom, you know, how far I think that PF has gone as an activity as a whole.
Shout out Mr. H. Um, Anything else, Jason?
I don't know, not anything on my mind right now.
Uh, I don't know. I think maybe there's the conception that debate is like not welcoming. I know my AP Comp Gov teacher, who will remain unnamed, he calls us angry nerds. But I actually don't really think that's like what like debate is about. Like yeah, like we can be passionate sometimes, but I don't know. I don't think we're like I don't know. We're not like unjustifiably angry. I just think debate is pretty welcoming. It's a good activity, I'd say.
And if somebody is considering the activity for like their kid, or even it's just like an eighth grader or ninth grader watching this video deciding whether to do debate or not do debate, what is the advice you would give them, or like what would you say to them in that situation?
So I think Daniel will probably agree with me on this actually, but debate is probably not the best activity to do if you're solely looking for college applications. I think especially with, all these new different ranking systems that come out every week, there are so many different ways for people to say, "Oh, I've been ranked as high as first in the nation." And with more activities coming out, every few years, I think that debate has kind of not been, the college app booster that it used to be. I'm not saying that debate isn't, it most definitely is, but I think that if you're joining debate solely for the college app purpose, that you would probably find yourself more fulfilled doing other activities, whether that's Model UN, DECA, FBLA, I don't know. Um, but I think that you should go into debate not with the sole purpose of helping boost your chances to get into a good college, but to be able to, I think, enlighten yourself. It sounds cliche, but I think that debate really has taught me a lot about international politics, domestic politics, and I think that it's definitely made me more intellectual as a whole.
I totally agree with Jason. Yeah, I don't know. I think if I was on the fence about wanting to join speech and debate, I would say just give it like one tournament to see if you like it. Like, that should tell you like where you are. Just give it a chance. And if it's not for you, it's not for everyone. To be like really honest. And I don't think anybody should like be like prepping super hard at like sixth grade levels um for like their future college. But if that's you and you really like want to do that, like that's you. But if you're really on the fence, give it a chance. It's a good activity. You just yeah, I think it definitely does have a college boost though. I'll say it. Like not like a minimal one. But if that's the sole reason, it's not like all that it's hyped to be.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, I don't know, maybe in my experience, I don't think I've met many debaters that like didn't love it, that like did well. Like, I think most of the people like that didn't love it. Like, I remember I probably like spent like my freshman year, I must have spent like 15 hours on debate like a week outside of the tournament, just like cutting cards or just like looking at arguments or like watching policy rounds. So I think that if like you don't love it, you're probably not gonna like do well in it. But going off of that, what is your favorite argument? We're getting into some fun things, learning about Daniel and Jason. What's your favorite argument you've ever read in a debate round?
Well, I think like last year we went a lot for either the politics dissad or the the
I
econ
love the
dissad, but
politics dissad.
I guess that doesn't really work now that Trump's in office anymore. But an argument that we've like low-key read a decent amount is Spark. I think that we've like gotten pretty good at it, and there's kind of the surprise factor where teams, I guess, are still having trouble answering the argument. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. Um, I don't really know what to say. I liked I don't really know. I like the escalation like this that's like really generic, but I don't know. Those are always like fun and prevalent.
Yeah. And what is your like round dynamics like? Like how do you guys like approach like prep? Because I know a lot of partnerships have a really big problem of just like they argue a bunch or like they just don't get along or they're not able to create a cohesive strategy. What suggestions would you have for the people that like are not able to do that?
Well, I guess I don't know how like what cross looks like to other people, but for me and Daniel, we actually don't talk that much during cross. I think that we'll probably spend like the first 20 seconds kind of talking about strategy for a little bit. And then after that, it's primarily execution. Daniel will, you know, spend his time like brainstorming what strategies to go for or how to execute the strategies that we've talked about. And if he ever needs me to do anything, like he can always, and we do outsource, like, I guess, like some things that like we need like a little bit of like structure or framework to, um, whether that's before final focus or summary. And I think that that's helped us utilize our prep more efficiently than most other teams do.
Yeah. Jason's right. I think I'll definitely be like, Jason, can you paste in like X? Like it might just be like, can you help me answer this argument? Like I'll do X, you do Y. Like I don't know. Just trusting your partner is a big part of it. Don't interrupt their speeches verbally. Or like actually I don't really mind. Like at the end or like during the middle, but like so, for some people, if you're arguing with your partner during their speech, that's really bad looks. And yeah, you just allocate prep well, like find a strategy first 30 seconds. And at that point, you should be just talking to them based on like what you need. I'll say that if you argue in round for more than like 10 to 15 seconds, you're finished. Like you're not winning that round.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think that makes sense. I think arguing is probably like ethos level, probably just gonna like kill you. But um going back to the fun subjects, if Daniel and Jason are judging in the 2025 to 2026 school year, and you want to try to get 30 speaker points from them, what could you do other than doing good debating?
You got it.
Um, I don't know. I know some judges have decided that 30 speaker points are not a thing. So maybe I'll just adjudicate to that so teams won't beg for 30s.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Daniel?
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, that's what I also think too. But like if you get me like a you get me a matcha latte, I'll consider it.
What's
Yeah.
what is Jason and Daniel's Starbucks order?
Jason, you want to go?
Um, it's always the caramel ribbon crunch frappuccino.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I have a sweet tooth, really big sweet tooth. So
No, it's hella good, bro. My order, I get like the matcha latte with lavender foam and one pump vanilla.
And what's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack, uh, I like watermelon. I like salt and vinegar chips too. Jason?
yeah, same. But I would honestly say I don't think me and Daniel eat a whole lot at tournaments actually. So
Yeah, we'll do like one big meal.
What's your favorite restaurant you guys have ever been to at a tournament? Jason talked earlier about trying different foods being a key facet of the debate experience. So, what's been your favorite dining experience, Jason?
okay. Um, well, I think that what's nice about Strake is like we have a decent amount of funding, so I think that we always make it like a thing to have one team meal at every tournament. And I think that's something that's really cool that we've actually started this year is, if there's ever someone's birthday on that weekend or even like a few days before, a few days after, we always make it a thing to get them a cake, sing them happy birthday. And I think it really helps with team culture. But I would say that the best moments are always when we have a huge team dinner. I think that my most favorable one is probably last year um, at UK. We went to this really cool Indian place and everyone broke. We dropped like $300. There was a lot of food and everyone was just feeling really good. So yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. Um, I'll say that we're blessed to have a lot of funding. And also, um, like a coach who really likes us in Ishan. So he's not withholding our funding like certain other coaches. But yeah, Jason's right. UK was hype. I also think that we get a lot of like get a lot of Pizookies or
Oh my gosh, Pizookies! I love
Pizookies.
Pizookies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I just went to BJ's like like a few nights ago with my friends just to get one. Have you
Yes.
guys tried a jumbo Pizookie?
Dude, I sent
We're
Jason the
actually
link.
we're planning on getting that if we ever get the chance to. So yeah.
If you ever get the chance to. He's talking about like you're gonna die, Daniel. What's going on?
Well,
No,
we
we're
don't know. We don't know if we're gonna go to TOC. We're kind of on the fence about that. There's a whole lot going that weekend and that week. So who knows? If we do end up going to TOC, we are for sure getting a jumbo Pizookie though,
yep.
100%.
1000%. What's going on? Or actually, that's probably. What would you guys say was the feeling of winning the TOC?
Daniel?
Oh, it was surreal. I low-key didn't even believe it. Like, I don't know. I called my mom and she was like, "Really?" I don't know. But it was great. I was really happy.
Yeah, totally agree.
And how important has like familial or like friend support been in like the debate process for y'all?
Well, I'll say like I think that I'm forever grateful for having, such a supportive family. Um, they're always cool with me missing school because of debate. They always make sure that I have meals. I need whatever I need for debate. And I say that 100% without the friends that I have in debate, that I would probably not be doing the activity. I would have quit a long time ago. I would say that unironically, friends are probably the only thing that have actually kept me in this activity for so long. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say so too. Like for my family, everyone always says like they're spreading like late at night. I don't really know about that, but I think that like all the airport trips that they've had to drive me to like early in the morning for our classic like red eye flights and then our like 3 a.m. flights back. That support has been really crucial and also just like making sure I'm fed. Like I go home and I'm never like I'm like never worried about food. And also like funding, obviously. I'm really lucky to be able to do debate. I could only do it because of my family. And friends wise, like I don't know, I feel like yeah, if I didn't have any friends in PF or like I didn't know the people that I know like across the country, and good had like a good support system, then I definitely would have like quit long ago.
Okay, and this is the final question. And it's kind of a big one. What do you hope people remember about you, Straight GZ, in the future?
Jason?
Daniel, you got this one.
Dude, I don't know. I hope people think that like I don't know, bruh. Every time I hear people talking about Strake, it's like, oh, they're so intimidating. They're so mean. Like I don't know, bruh. Like, I think just, just like, I feel like the time we debated is the same time PF became a whole lot more tech. Um, I don't know. I think just being remembered for being like quality debaters, like chill people, that would be good. That would be great. And we're not just tech debaters. Like everyone is always saying that we're getting cooked on the lay or something like that. Um, I don't know, but don't remember us as like people who can just like speak really fast and read like silly arguments. Like I don't know, bro. Jason?
Yeah, like Daniel's kind of right. Like everyone's saying intimidating, but I would say that like it doesn't even I don't even care about, having other people think that we're like super good debaters or anything. I think that what you should think of us is we are just also just like your average high schooler. We're no more special than you are. And I think that a lot of people usually idolize debaters, and I think that that's a bad mindset. You should just treat us as another high schooler. I think there's nothing particularly special about us. We got lucky at a few tournaments, and that's pretty much it.
Okay, well, I appreciate y'all being interviewed. This will be on the internet forever. So Straight GZ will live on in memory, and I hope y'all do end up going to the TOC. Yeah, let me stop this.
All right. Thank you so much.